This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Mission 250.
Hi there, my little droogies. Welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast. We are watching
which one of us is dim?
I don't know.
I mean, right?
That's right.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
We're a podcast.
They old in and out.
Yeah. Anyway,
Clockwork Orange. We watched the
it's
best
fucking
movies ever
movie.
made. We're padding these ones out with bonus episodes because, man, there's a run of tough ones to watch. This week, we're watching the 1971 classic A Clockwork Orange, directed by Stanley Kubrick. The synopsis is, in the future, a sadistic gang leader is imprisoned and volunteers for a conduct diversion experiment, but it doesn't go as planned. And this week, John is...
John takes the honors.
there.
here I am. Yeah. Hi, everybody.
What's up?
So, John,
Wow.
are you going to give us like a psychological breakdown of this, or are you just going to do like a
Well, the first thing was, I think this is the first time that I've really been terrified that I'm watching the movie downstairs and the kids are upstairs asleep,
Oh,
and I'm
right.
really terrified that they might walk down
Yep.
and even see there are parts of this film that are so graphic that it's just unlike anything else. I mean, a lot of the other things that we've watched, there's some bad parts, but there's not so many, or there might be bad parts, but it's more emotional drama stuff, not just like in your face awfulness. So I had my own sense of terror watching this film. I was like, had a half an hour.
Yeah, you had like
trying
a
to listen upstairs.
Right. You had a personal,
Yeah.
personally affected you, and not even about the movie. Like it was the
Yeah,
situation around
yeah.
watching the fucking thing.
But
Jesus.
boy, this movie is just really, really intense. It's well done. There's a gratuitous of the sex that I don't know if it has to be so gratuitous. So we could argue about that.
The answer is,
Um,
yes, it does, John. Go on.
Yes, thank you, Denny.
Yeah,
Now
'cause
that
it's
we've
full
got
throttle.
that
It's
done.
full throttle all the way.
Um,
That's the thing.
But
right?
but starting with just, I mean, you start with orange, that big, like everything's this big flat orange screen, which was also just an amazing start to the movie with the digitized, like synthesized kind of classical-ish music. And then you get the face of Malcolm McDowell with his one eye outlined in eyeliner. I don't know who came up with that look, and maybe Denny, but my God.
The costume designer just had it on her, and she's like, try this, and it worked.
That was it?
Yep.
Because my God, that was just, whoever decided that, like you do just the one eye, not both eyes.
Was it eyeliner or was it like a fake? It was fake
It's fake
eyelashes or
eyelash. There's
something.
actually a scene in the movie you can see him peeling off and putting it on his mirror.
right.
He
On the
does.
mirror,
Yeah,
on the mirror,
it's his
yeah.
look, right? Yeah. And, you see him do that at the end. Yeah. But
We can get into
that-
a lot of stuff in this movie, but most things are things that come through experimentation and clicking. Just like, oh, that works,
Yeah.
do it. And that's like
Yeah.
most of this movie.
because his expressions, him as a character is just amazing. He is a total psychopath, but he is charming and he is very smart. And that I think is rather unique. I think this young, charming, smart, psychopathic character, to just show him and have it played so well, so charismatically by Malcolm, is just, man, just from that opening shot on with him and his smirk and his stare, the way he stares forward. Holy cow.
Oh, fuck, man.
That's just, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything like that. Just that alone. I know that there's.
I think
everything
Private
else about
Pile
this
had a
movie,
good
but-
stare. But
Yeah.
it was only for that. It was only for that one. It was only for that one scene. Like this guy did it the whole fucking movie
Oh,
until
wait,
he was
Pile.
a scared little
I
shit.
thought you meant like
No,
Gormer
Private Pile.
Pile for a moment. I know.
No,
Yeah, I don't know
Private
what it is
Pile.
about Kubrick, but when you go insane, you roll your eyes up and you show your bottom teeth. Apparently,
Right.
that's what
No,
you
you
do.
tilt your forehead forward. You kind of angle your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, the writer goes through that too, I can see that. I don't know about it, what it is about Stanley. He's like, this is what insanity looks like. Okay,
We're going to put the camera between your feet. We're going to shoot up at your face. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
he's
awesome.
like, look, I'm gonna put this huge light directly on you. Look
Yeah.
just underneath it.
almost got it, but I can't see your bottom
Right.
teeth. I need to see those
I
bottom
need the
teeth.
teeth.
It's very important in
How am
insanity.
I supposed to deliver the lines? Just like that. Just like that.
That's
go,
it.
go, go.
That's right. You got it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're making fun of it, but you can, like, that's all awesome shit, right? It's all awesome.
No,
Yeah, right.
I know.
It's
I
kinda
know.
awesome, yeah.
I am, but again, I was just like really struck because I haven't seen this in a while, and his Malcolm McDowell's smile, his expressions, his chumminess, and even when he's like interacting with the school doctor or whoever that guy is, like he's like the school counselor, I guess. He is just so charming about it that it's just really impressive. His narration is impressive. The way and the language, of course, of the book is really, it comes from the book, and the book is really, really good.
A small pain in the Gulliver, sir.
Small pain in the Gulliver, sir.
And Burgess, like his books are pretty amazing for their language. He loves to just play with language all the time, and that really comes through. But his delivery of those lines are just, man, it's so good.
Yeah.
Dude, it makes it so you don't even need to know exactly what the word means. It makes sense in context, and you just roll.
Yeah,
it.
that's
incredible.
true, Danny. That's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it.
Yeah, and the cinematography and the design throughout this, there's like use of shadows and light, and just the milk bar is insane looking, but just. And they pull out of that, or the record store, just like even as he's walking through that record store, which did you guys see the 2001 album cover?
Oh, yeah, right?
I did not see that. I did not see that.
Pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, his voice is like, oh, man. I just can't get over Malcolm's performance in terms of how he uses his voice and his expressions. And even as he's talking into battle with the gang, he's like, "Come and get one in the yarbles." And he
doesn't got any yarbles.
That's such a great line, though. The yarbles,
Right.
like who says that? Nobody talks like that anymore. That's great.
Right. So I think, and honestly, it's almost like a Mick Jagger look to him, or something like he's just exudes this kind of charisma that
you knew who was going to play Alex in the first version of this.
I like that. I like that.
Was it Mick Jagger?
It was Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger bought the rights to this book from Anthony Burgess for $500 initially.
No way.
So, and all the groups were going to be the Stones. That was the original idea.
Oh,
but
shit.
Holy
man.
shit,
Wow.
man. What a fucking
been
awesome idea that was. Because he must have made out a fortune on that.
Oh, yeah, they resold the rights afterwards for a lot of money.
Of course, they packaged it together like, oh, man, the lawyers handled all that shit. Oh, man. That guy's just
we can get into it.
money.
Like, Anthony Burgess did this in 4 other books within a year because he thought he had a brain tumor. So he was, like, pumping books out because he thought he had to, like, provide for his wife after he died.
Holy shit.
God. So he was in a mood of, like,
completely nuts.
Yeah, he was just trying to sell shit as quickly as possible was his, he's kind of out of his mind, too. But he lived until he was old. So...
Yeah. He's sitting there every year like, God damn it, when is this tumor going to kick in?
Yeah, I'm not dead yet, fuck.
Yeah, there's so many other fun characters in this but it's hard
you
to
can
put
use
that
the word fun,
on,
John, you can.
But
you can.
that school counselor is, that the way he does
what
that.
A creepy dude, huh?
It's such a contrast, and it's between the two of them, like you just have two kinds of crazy.
Dude, it's comedy, man. When he's like, I tried to save you from yourself, and he like grabs him in the nuts.
Right.
If it all wasn't so like stomach churning and strange, it would be funny.
Right.
Like it was so strange to the other character too that even he didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like I don't even get mad at this. Like you're out of your fucking gourd. You know what I mean?
Right. And there's such like, and that's part of what's. I mean, a lot of the victims aren't even portrayed necessarily in too realistic of a manner. But there's such other characters in this movie, like the main prison guard was like, man, he was so good at being the like uptight British John Cleese kind of character. What was his name? His name was Michael Bates. The actor who did that, but where he's, your toes, you see that white line? And it just, you can't do it. I can't do it. But that sort of British soldier yell thing.
I love that long shot they have of him when he's like signing the paperwork and he's like, and here, so.
Yeah.
Oops. And here.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just so drawn up. But the whole scene where he's interviewed for the prison, it's just so ridiculous. But it's also just really, really good. And yeah, I just love the chief. The chief guard was just amazingly done too. And I tried to look if this was before Monty Python. It was about the same time because it just seems like I don't know if this was necessarily like totally original at the time, but it really was well done. Yeah, and then the whole treatment psychological side of this and the idea of just sort of this kind of conditioning or behaviorism sort of thing, which is like the whole point, is really interesting all by itself. And did you look up why it's called A Clockwork Orange, Denny?
I did. I've read the book, so.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
wow. Look at you, mister. I read books. Oh, okay.
I fucking love this movie, and I've read the book because this movie is so good.
Timmy doesn't know how to read, so there's no point.
No, Timmy.
Yeah.
Oh,
what is
this fucking thing you stringing
okay.
together here? I know how to do pipes. I told you that already.
I thought you were more of a no, sorry, that was Larry.
Thing about the pipes is you don't have to read. You just screw. You just screws right in. You're good.
The John Henry of pipe laying.
You screw the pipe and then you unscrew the bottle cap when you have your beer. It's all the same shit.
That's right. It's training.
Yeah, right.
That whole stuff. So anyway, orange, I guess, is it's pretty common to I don't know how common it is, but in like British English, it's like it can mean organic or mean like biological. So to say that you're like that, and that's the idea, like then that we could be perceived as just like as just machines, and that's the idea of conditioning is you just change the behavior of the machine by changing its environment, and then they will just behave differently. And so that's just
Creepy.
again just a really interesting idea. But I don't know. I think this film's pretty amazing, and it's terrifying, and the sex and violence is also terrifying, and it's all wrapped up farcical at times too, and humorous at times, and so it's a very confusing movie in the sense
it's very
of the mood it creates.
Yep.
But man, it's well done. I can't argue with how well done it is, and how realized he is as a character. In spite of all of that craziness, I don't know. Yeah, it's a very impressive film. Just not. I can understand why it's banned in places. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in such things, but I can understand why it's very controversial. And Kubrick himself like pulled it, right? I mean,
there's reasons for that.
Right, we can go into that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting, but you can see how people might want to copy. I mean, Malcolm looks so cool. I mean, his character seemed so cool in this film, and so you can really see how somebody might think that that's pretty awesome. Look at that. So anyway,
singing in the rain, I'm singing in the rain. I'll never be able to listen to that fucking song again without thinking about it.
I heard that was ad-libbed by Malcolm, and in the Wikipedia page, one of the things I got from there.
Ad-libs meaning they were sitting on that scene for a while, and they actually did it so many times. The first female rape victim in that scene quit because she couldn't take it anymore, but they were still stagnant. So they were shooting and shooting, and 3 days after the new person came on, Kubrick was like, "Dude, I have no idea what's going on, but like this is not working. Just try to do some stuff.
Do something. He's like, warm up for a second or something. You'll get it. And he's like, singing in the rain."
He asked Malcolm McDowell if he could dance, and he's like, "Yeah." And so we started dancing and singing in the rain, and he's like, "Holy shit. That is awesome."
Oh God!
So then
know what, that must have sent the studio into a tailspin too. They're like, "Fuck! Now I gotta get the fucking rights to this stupid song."
What they did is they drove off set. They drove off set right then when they knew they wanted to do that, and they bought the rights immediately before anybody knew any better of how they were going to use it. And they bought it for $10,000, and they solidified it. And they wrote in him singing it. Like one of the only things they wrote into the script that wasn't in the book was him singing the song in the tub at the end. As a way to
right, that gives him away, which seems pretty dumbass. He knows where he is.
Yeah,
but that seems like a little.
But he probably sang so many songs, right? Over the times he was doing this destructive stuff, he probably doesn't remember which songs he sang when.
Right, it's not as memorable to him as it was to us.
Right,
that makes sense. I can't imagine what it was like for those actors to do those prolonged rape scenes. My God, in the theater. That theater rape scene's going on forever. I mean, I can't imagine. And so that's just the one take or the one edit you see, let alone however many freaking takes there were of that thing.
Oh, I know. And she was really they were really fucking moving her around too. Like it wasn't.
God, yeah.
It looked so real. I mean, I was like, I've never seen this before, but I would have imagined that's what it would look like if there was no. I'm saying I haven't seen
in real life
4 dudes raping a chick, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't imagine that would not be that. It would probably be exactly that, right? Like the fucking poor thing flailing around. Yeah, those rape scenes are not easy.
No.
None of this fucking movie. I mean, there were just parts too, like when he shows back up at the house for the second time, and you realize it before he does. You're like, oh fuck, he's at the house. He's gonna fucking go back in the house where he raped that wife. Oh my God, this fucking idiot. How do you end up in the same place twice like that too?
How
and then
many roads are there in England? Come on, there's got to be more than just the one.
I realized too after looking it up, but like it was just there for the story, right? Like that's not actually a thing, right? Like this kid gets beaten up and he walks into the same house that he raped a woman in. Come on. That seems fucking unlikely.
Yeah, but you could just also say that we're showing those two parts because they're the parts that are relevant to the story. He could have just been wandering, and he could have wandered into hundreds of houses that would have been
right.
No, and you know what a person with normal empathy and not sociopathic tendencies would think is like, oh my God, I feel guilty. I can't do this. Right? He's a nut. He doesn't even remember what he did. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But he was in a daze. He was also really sick and out of his mind, and he just wanted to go home. And he saw the word "home," and he sort of like was as part of his narration was like, that made sense to me at the time. Look, it's home. But even he does such a great job again of just showing how smart he is. You know, in terms of like how he's reading the situation. again, it's just such fabulous acting. And again, maybe Kubrick brings it out, right, in people. But when he's like drinking the wine and he's all nervous about what's going on, and I don't know, it's just.
Yeah. Why don't you have another one? He's
You
like,
know,
he
mean-
knows. He's like, fuck,
Try
he
the
knows. He knows.
wine.
He totally
Whoa,
knows.
dude.
Not to mention, why did he go
Yeah.
with like, he went with from like, nice wife to crazy jacked dude just lifting weights in the house with him.
Crazy Jack dude is his bodyguard.
Yeah.
now.
He's like a
Crazy
No,
Jack-
that's what I'm
I
saying. Like,
assume.
that's how far, like he
Yeah,
would
right.
never forget that situation
Right.
or this kid, regardless of the nose he put
Yeah.
on his face. Right?
Well,
Perhaps-
the weird thing was he did forget about him, right? When he saw him before the Singing in the Rain thing.
Right.
It's
he
weird.
didn't
It's
even
weirdly
recognize him.
acted in that part.
I
Because
don't know,
when I
like,
watched this with
yeah.
Naomi for the first time, and she was like, she recognizes him, right? He's acting weird. I'm like, he actually doesn't
it seems like he
recognize
did,
him right
kind
now.
of. Seems like
Right.
he
It
did,
kind of does. But he is just
Yeah.
acting
He's wondering,
super weird.
yeah.
It was, you know what it was? It was like one of those things I think he was trying to touch on, like when you have a gut instinct, but you just can't quite place it yet,
Yeah, that could be
right?
it.
And you're like, I know that this is something wrong here. I know that this something's weird, and then you figure it out because of some other, trigger.
Yeah. TCA, have you ever watched this movie all the way through before?
No,
Where
because
did you,
when
can
I
you
was
remember where
younger,
you stopped it?
I stopped when I was at the house, the rape. I was like, I don't want to watch this. I don't
Right.
need to. I don't need to see
No thanks. Or extended rape scene. No thank you.
I'm good. Yep. And I think I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time too, and she was just like, I don't want to watch. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This?
Yeah. Great
No.
first date movie.
No, I want to have sex tonight for consensually. So I don't
Yeah.
really want to watch this right now and ruin the mood. Okay. Anything we got to do to turn this around, I'm good with. Let's turn it off. Yeah, and I honestly though, in all seriousness, I think I never came back to it because I remembered that scene. It's the last scene of watching it. It wasn't until I started seeing the alternate story, which is really that this kid gets fucked over and deserves it, that I was like, oh, this movie's fucking badass. It's just so fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that we actually ended up watching it because I don't think I would have ever sat down on purpose to watch it if this wasn't, podcast.
Unless we forced you to. Yeah. Somehow.
Oh, the old in and out, huh? Oh, jeez.
I don't know. This movie is hard to talk about just because I enjoy it a lot. This movie is like one of the most guilty pleasures. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure because everyone talks about it being good, but I really enjoy this movie mostly because I'm kind of I'm more of a horror movie fan than you guys. I kind of
Yeah.
more enjoy the feeling of something that is so extremely upsetting. And this movie is extremely upsetting. I saw it when I was 14 years old and
Wow.
it's like, it still makes me like feel sick. And for some reason, that is good to me. I consider that a good thing, but I'm able to like laugh at it more now. Once you get past the first portion of the movie, it is a lot funnier. Were you guys laughing at all during the course of this movie?
Oh yeah. Once the negative shit went away and it was like, a revenge movie at that point, like, the world, the universe against the asshole. I was enjoying it for sure.
I have a feeling
Because
John wasn't
it's
laughing
the way
too
it
much.
goes. It's the way it goes in life,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Be an
I
asshole, you
was-
get shit in return.
Yeah, I wasn't laughing too much. No.
So that's why. So
No, John was sitting there shaking, staring at the stairs, staring back at the screen,
come
staring
down.
back at the
Who is
stairs,
that?
open his ear up a little bit. Did I hear something? Was that a kid? Jeez, that's stress I don't need.
that's why I think this movie is so good. It's because depending on who you talk to and depending on their interpersonal feelings with things like this, you get totally different reactions out of people. Some people think that this movie is a comedy. Some people think it's like the scariest movie ever made. It's kind of a mix of both to me.
Yep.
I remember thinking the first times I watched it when like they capture him and he tries to kill himself and he's being like tortured by the police and all that stuff is kind of just like it's
Real
real and dark.
is a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, maybe that's why I wasn't that worried about it.
But
But
it's
I've
all-
been through something like this. You know what I mean? Like, I've been through these situations with these fucking assholes in charge. I just didn't rape and pillage, so I didn't deserve it.
yeah, I can hear John just silently judging me for saying I enjoy this movie.
No,
No, for the
no,
person
no,
that doesn't
no,
have
no,
any of
no,
those
man.
situations and has no reference and they just see these things, it's the very negative energy coming off of this film.
It's also, yeah. I mean, I think that
I'm at the point now, John, just trying to explain myself. During that terrible rape scene, which once turned my stomach, and I agree, it made me sick the first few times I watched it. I am now watching it and just admiring Malcolm McDowell's physicality in it, how he flips his little cup up and the ball bounces down and it bounces in time with the song and he catches it and he's like whacking people at the
so
time.
you're
And
technical.
Oh,
You're technical.
That's
You're
the other
technical
thing.
at this
No,
point.
no,
That's
you're right.
great.
This film
Yeah.
is just so crafted.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody seems to be like giving it everything they've got and just going for style. I don't know. I agree, man. It's. I mean, even like you've got the rape scene in the theater, the whole atmosphere they set up there, and the shadows and the echoes of the voices. Holy cow! It's just, man. It's impressive the way the scenes are constructed, right? And then what the actors do with it. But yeah, I know you can sit back and just admire the performances and the technical pieces, whether it's the cinematography, whether it's the design, and whether it's how people are interacting, and just be amazed at how much freaking work this must have been. Like, and how much thought seems to have gone into this, or how many takes did they do to get the choreography of that friggin' singing in the rain bit.
Yep.
Right. Like how he did all of it, man. He did his whole intricate dance number while singing and beating, and he added more to it.
Yeah. And there were things that like called for a single take, like taping things around someone's head. That's hard to get off. They fucking cut the woman's dress up. Like, you can't just reset this take with that, it's
Well, multiple
Not
dresses.
judging you negatively about that at all, man. I
know
think
this.
that
I think that I've been able to I've watched this movie a ton of times. I can now watch it as a production, which to its credit is extremely hard to do because it seems so realistic in those moments. I think it's somewhat to do with the acting.
With you being old?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
That's getting old? Yeah,
maybe.
I mean,
But I think it has to do, like,
know.
it's easy to forget that the movie is fake because of the acting, but also because of like the production. Like, it's the way it's filmed seems almost like like a snuff film almost. Like, it seems like it's a lot of it is shot on handheld. It's grainier than Stanley Kubrick's other pictures. It seems like a student film sometimes, way better than.
I didn't pick up on any of that.
Can you kind of see it now? I don't know if I'm
I can, yeah. No, you're making very good points. I didn't even put the two and
It
two
doesn't
together.
seem dated at all.
Yeah. Because it doesn't
seem
make
old.
sense. When does this take place? This is a fucked up movie. There's the sets
This could happen at any
are
time.
so weird throughout that you're kind of just like, where the fuck is this? Is this just like a nightmare? Where are they walking through here? Like, what kind of record store is
Maybe
this?
that's
where
why
everything
people are
is-
so scared of it. Maybe that's why they're so scared of it. Is because they internalize it as like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Maybe you're touching on a point there. I like that.
All
All right, Denny, go out on the high note, huh?
Oh, okay.
All right, wrap that shit up. No, I'm just kidding. You have a good point there, man. I hadn't really thought about it like
So
that.
that's just me trying to defend myself, but I will.
But that's also him being such a genius at this stuff, right? He's like, I'm going to make it grainier. I'm going to do this. It's like, what?
Well,
Come
what
up
he
with this shit.
did, what he tried to do, the history behind this was that this is coming off 2001, which was a moderate success over time, not a huge hit, but people loved it, sort of thing, where they thought that he would get to do whatever he wanted afterwards. He was planning on doing the Napoleon movie after 2001, but Waterloo just came out, which apparently was somehow tied to the funding of the Napoleon movie, and that movie bombed, so he wasn't going to get to do the Napoleon movie. So he was kind of like, what do you call it when a football player doesn't have a team or whatever?
Free agent.
He was like a free agent. There you go. And someone handed him this book, and he wanted to do it because it was already like the project was already rolling, and they kind of took the rights from whoever the Stones sold it to the second time, sort of thing. Like, the rights were moving around a little bit. Everyone's selling it for higher than the past guy, which I didn't know was a thing. You own a rights, you build up like, oh, this could be good. And the guy's like, oh, I'll buy that. You double your money, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like domain name buying or whatever.
Yeah.
That's common, right?
It's kind of weird.
Take some-
So like Burgess just sold his rights for, chump change to the Rolling
thought he had a tumor.
Stones. Yeah.
thought he had a
But then
tumor.
like he sees the rights just being bounced around and he can't do shit about it. It's fucking weird.
Nope. That's the whole thing. That's a brutal situation.
Yeah.
Happens to musicians too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't like Michael Jackson own the Beatles albums for a
Yeah,
while?
right? What the fuck is that?
But so Kubrick decided that he wanted to prove that he could do a low budget movie with this movie.
Wow.
So there was only one set constructed for the entire movie, and it was the Milk Bar. Everything else was shot on location and dressed up. Some things weren't even dressed up.
So he had like something to prove.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like an experiment he wanted to see if he could do, I guess. And it just like, I guess it fit perfectly with this movie. It's like, yeah, that'll
At the
work.
time and the actors available and everything.
Right.
It all lined up.
It all lined up. Just like everything always lines up for Kubrick. At least they did for like 4 movies in a row.
Yeah, he really does. He just had a knack for film. It's unreal.
He did. Mostly because, and I'll get into this too, the commentary had Malcolm McDowell on it, which was awesome.
Right.
Oh, cool.
And he had nothing but good things to say about Stanley Kubrick. And he had, he was just basically reiterating what we've talked about ourselves watching all of his movies. about how he just like gets involved in every single aspect of the movie and involves
Right.
every single person, including the janitors. He's like, if someone has an idea, tell me and I'll consider it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Which is the way to work in all areas
you'd
of
think
life.
so, but
Mhm.
not a lot of people. I mean, that sounds hard as fuck, to be honest, to be able to like get all these ideas and try to figure out what would be good and what would work. and
Well,
then-
I'm thinking I think mainly what he's saying is, if you have an idea that's fucking brilliant, speak up. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. So like, so it's when like at
No,
work,
not even
right?
that.
Like,
He'll
you're supposed to
listen to
speak
any
up when
idea.
you disagree. Yeah, but when you disagree because of something and you just say it is what they want.
yeah.
They want collaboration. They don't want some asshole from the
Stupid
sound crew being
ideas.
like,
I don't think you should put the sound thing over there. I think we should put it over here.
He's like, shut the fuck up, dude. We don't even need sound on this. Fuck, dude. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to think that there's a director that of his caliber that would even consider those things, because you see some of the other guys out there, they're fucking pricks.
Yep. That's awesome.
He's a master.
He has the most credits in this movie, even though they're not full credits and he's uncredited a lot of the time, but they went through and all the things that he did a lot of the time. He was actually behind the camera in this movie. All the handheld shots in this movie, there were a number of them. Like one of them was when Alex was like stabbing the old woman with a giant dildo thing, whatever, the dick statue.
Yeah.
That was all handheld.
Jesus, what the fuck was that thing? Who made that thing?
Dude, I like it
Yeah.
how it
Fire that
somebody
guy.
Where did they
built
find
that
that?
to like wobble
Yeah.
very strangely when you karate chop it.
Yeah. What are you supposed to do with it? I don't
Where did
understand
they
why it was
get-
made.
that
What was the
interesting. Did
purpose?
somebody envision that, or where did they find that somewhere? Where'd they get that?
I don't. They didn't
Yeah,
touch on
right.
it.
Yeah.
They didn't touch on it.
They went to Salvation
No,
Army and it was
no,
just
nobody
sitting in the
touched it.
corner. I don't get it. Right?
Kubrick,
Like, what
check
the
this
fuck?
out. This is perfect.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
like the
it's
fuck, I don't know if
50
you're supposed to
cents,
sit
man.
on it or not. And it's glass, and I think, I don't know, is it glass? I don't know. Fuck, it's 50 cents. You want to get it? Yeah, sure. It's basically the guitar. You want the guitar too? It's broken, but it's cool. What about triple XT? Need a triple XT? We got that too.
What about this collection of 50 10-foot by 20-foot full nude paintings for 50 cents?
Oh, we already got the rights for the song. We can't do those two. Get rid of those. We're not getting those. Yeah. Get the dick that rolls around on the whatever. Fuck it. Yeah, that was a weird piece, I have to say, but I guess that's art, right? Ooh, it's art.
Yeah.
No, it's a dick that rocks. That's all
It's a
it is,
rocking
dude.
dick. Did you write that
Yeah.
into the screenplay? Yeah, they actually found one.
yeah.
Worked out
Yeah,
nicely.
yeah. We have to find a
Yeah.
rocking dick. I don't know. Kubrick wants it in there. It seems to fit.
But speaking of
The old in and
screenplay,
out.
so Kubrick has writing credits for the screenplay. They didn't have a screenplay for this movie. They carried around the book.
Oh, wow.
Oh God, he didn't.
No
he
shit.
didn't write out his. Wow.
So they would-
I just
they would-
I assumed he wrote a screenplay.
No, so eventually, I think
He's like,
he wrote a
wow,
screenplay
that's
just
impressive.
to like document what they were doing. But what they would do on set is they would like open to a page of the book and then read it and be like, how would we shoot this?
Oh
And they would-
wow.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So some people say that
Fuck
it's
up. Wow.
the most direct, I don't know what you call it. Like it is
Like
so close to the book
translation
because
or
they
Right
just
out of the
pulled it
book.
from the book.
Adaptation.
Yeah.
They're literally using it as the script.
So while
just-
the movie
It's
is
amazing,
actually,
though. How do you read through a whole book like that and then know what the story is you want to show?
well, they all
It's fucked.
read it. They all were huge fans of the book before they started shooting it. So they were all kind
so
of
they
on the
knew it
same
in and out,
page.
all
Yeah.
of them. Okay. All right.
Um,
Interesting. That's really cool, man. That is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, Timmy doesn't know how to read, so
Timmy
it would
wouldn't have
never
got
be
a
me,
cast.
you
No.
know?
That's just
Now, what do you mean we
ballsy,
gotta
though,
open the
man.
book?
I mean,
What the fuck? Just tell me what to say, dude.
wow.
That's ballsy.
I just-
No
yeah.
other director would be allowed to do that either. No way.
No. Well, his budget was
Not a
so low
chance.
on this one too that is it
Yeah,
is
but
it
even
easier to
still,
get away
like,
with stuff with low budget
studio
stuff?
people are worrywarts, right? They're worrywarts. They're always trying to buffer in things for these creatives that are whack jobs, and
Yeah.
they're worried, right? Like they're not. They want the system, the process.
Right.
So the creatives are always going against it. It's like, oh, we got to buffer that in to the whole timeline. So I mean, I can't imagine that anyone was on board for that, other than the fact that it was Kubrick. Like any other director, no way. Fuck off. Write the screenplay. We'll see you in a week.
Yeah, the MGM director, apparently listening to the commentary for this, got fired from his job because of 2001 and how much of like a debacle it was while they were filming.
Fuck,
So-
that sucks.
So not only physical
hard
injuries on
sometimes,
set,
too.
which there were on this movie too, but he's getting people fired from their jobs.
But I imagine the physical injuries were pretty intense on this one for sure, because everyone was rolling around all over the place, fighting
Yeah.
each other.
It was actually not as bad as you'd think compared to say
Really?
Lawrence of Arabia,
No.
where
Well,
that guy got the shit kicked out of him like so bad. The only thing they ever talked about in this one was that that Malcolm McDowell had a cracked rib during the scene where he was being one-way fought on the stage at the prison.
Hmm.
And it's in the movie. It's when he's telling him to lick his shoe, and he kind of like digs his heel into his chest. He kind of like shakes him. He's like, "Lick it," sort of thing.
Oh,
you can see
he
the
cracked
heel
his rib
dig-
then?
cracked his rib right. Then.
ah,
You
Oh,
can see
baby.
McDowell's face go
Oh.
like, "Ah." It's actually the exact same reaction that Joe Pesci had in Raging Bull, where De Niro broke his hip. It's always like a
That's how you know you've really been watching these goddamn macho films.
Well,
There's
yeah,
a rib
right.
break.
oh, he broke his rib.
Yep.
It's a good movie.
Yep.
It's a great movie.
I had a rib break right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a rib break.
Yep.
But I mean, he scratched, the other bad injury was that he scratched his cornea, which apparently he said it was the worst pain in his entire life.
Ooh. Yeah, my sister had that once, and it was not pleasant.
They had to, so
Yeah.
they were filming that eye. So we're getting the trivia now. What do you think? We can weave in other stuff too.
Yeah, we're already in it, dude.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
knee
let's go.
deep.
So
Yeah.
that the eye scene, like that's a real device they use on usually it's passed out patients for eye surgery, and the patients are always laying down. So it's not made for patients sitting up or moving their eyes around.
Ah, they scratched his
Yeah.
cornea on
Scratched
that?
his cornea because he was moving his eyes
Oh,
around.
Fuck you.
But also, so they were being scratched. So they only filmed that scene for the majority of it for 10 minutes total. 2 cameras, 10 minutes. 99% of the shots from that scene were in 10 minutes, which is incredible because that's a pretty intense scene with him screaming and yelling and all that stuff. But towards the end of that 10 minutes, he's literally strapped into a straitjacket. His eyes were numb, but the numbing agent was wearing off. That guy sitting next to him was a real doctor, and he was putting in like real eye drops to keep his eyes hydrated because you go blind if your eyes don't fucking stay hydrated.
Jeez.
So
this is like
after
a
10
dangerous
minutes,
situation.
he was actually like losing it and screamed and jerked his arm to get out of the straitjacket because like I don't know what kind of mental breakdown thing he had, but
Oh, man,
he
that's really
he moved
scary.
the thing holding his eyes open and he scratched his eye like bad with the thing. So then they pulled him out. They brought him to the
Do
hospital.
we have that? Is that caught on film too? I mean, is that because those screams he was giving? Holy shit!
So,
His
That's a good question, John.
suffering there was fucking seemed pretty real.
Real.
Yeah.
And
So
it was
it's-
real.
It's
Fuck
tough because
me.
one of the documentaries I watched on it, they edited it so it seemed like that shot was where he was screaming, but they didn't say that. I think it was just like
Maybe
an editing
not.
trick
Maybe it wasn't.
for them to like
Okay.
make it
Yeah.
more intense to watch because
Maybe make it dramatic.
I think that's all it was. So I don't think it's in there from what I could tell.
I mean, that's see, I don't know. It's the fucking craziness that they let these people do. Is insane.
Yeah. This movie would never be made now. Never.
Mm.
Never.
No. And you try and put people's lives in bodily harm at risk and stuff. Those are not options anymore.
But yeah, so they had to bring him to the hospital. They shot him up with morphine. He said it fixed itself within 24 hours, but it was before he got the
Oh,
morphine.
really?
It was the worst. Apparently, eye injuries, they heal really quickly.
They do.
Yeah.
And surprisingly fast. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I know nothing, but that's what he said. So take that at
Yeah.
the person
I mean,
who
my
injured
mother
their
had
eyes
eye
face
surgery,
value.
and it was a month, and she was fine. But it was just like severe. I mean, this was like really serious eye surgery. So
Huh.
a month on that is, I can see like just a minor scratch. I think my sister was fine too after a couple days. She had sand thrown in her eye.
Ugh, God.
That's your eyes are. I mean, you take them for granted like that because they have one little thing and you're fucked.
Yeah. Sensitive little things
that
are always
thing
out in
was
the open.
it was so anxiety driven watching him stuck in that fucking chair, man. Honestly,
It's a sin. It's a sin.
it's a sin, Ludwig. Ah,
Can you think
Hell
of
of an
another
idea.
movie that has as many memorable moments and shots as this movie has in it?
no,
I cannot.
not
Yeah,
off
I
the
don't
top of
know.
my head, anyway.
I don't know. John doesn't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
Doesn't,
I
doesn't
don't
care
know.
to think
Don't
about
know.
the scenes in the movie. It's too hard to
So
really
he's still
think
worried about the
them.
kids coming down the stairs while he's
Yeah.
talking about it. You kidding me? Yeah, he's shit, man. Yeah, this movie was. The only thing that I was happy about going into this was prefacing it to myself. Okay, it's gonna be shitty. This is gonna be tough. Just sit and watch it. Don't turn it off this time, right? Like when I first watched it, I had no idea what the movie was about. So like, I was just getting into it, and I was like, "Fuck this!" But this time at least I had like time to prepare, which lessened the blow a little bit.
And the fact that you knew you needed to get through it, so
You're all right. Yep.
you don't have to make the choice of I feel guilty watching this shit right now.
You're right. Right. Yep.
So you want to talk
True.
about the bandness of this movie? How this movie was reportedly banned. It wasn't
Oh, sure.
banned.
Okay.
I was like, there was a band in the. What the fuck
No,
is he
I
talking
thought
about?
like,
There was a
he
band.
pulled it. He pulled
The
it out.
Stones.
He just pulled it like himself out. Like he decided to stop the movie from showing like Kubrick himself did.
He did.
But yeah,
Why did Wikipedia say that happened?
because they were copycat murders or something.
Yeah,
Hmm.
kind of. That didn't. As selfish as this is, I mean, not selfish for me, but selfish for Kubrick. he did it because he was getting death threats and people started coming to his doorstep and threatening him.
Oof.
Oh wow.
So
Jesus, that's
he was
real. That's
afraid-
when it's real.
Yeah,
That's
and the cops,
Jesus.
he had to like call the cops multiple times. And the cops were like,
Jesus.
dude, you cannot do this. Like, we've seen the movie. You're like, something bad's going to happen. And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
The cops are
'Cause
telling
you're going
to
against
chill.
people's core beliefs right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he
And-
lives in a similar place where he's like out. He likes to live, he's secluded out there, like in a house where it's very similar to the house that they assaults
man, there's
early
no
in this
one.
movie.
No one can get there in time. It's a 30-minute
Yeah.
drive just to get there. Jesus. Fuck
So he was
that.
afraid for his family. Like, there was a lot of people giving a lot of opinions of why that happened, but that one seems like the most embarrassing one that I heard, and that's probably the real reason it happened. Because, say, John, if he didn't want to pull it out because there were copycat murders, he only pulled it out of the UK. He didn't pull it out of everywhere else in the world
Right,
from showing.
right.
So,
Okay.
it wasn't like he didn't want anyone to see this. He didn't want harm to come to him where he lived. So,
Wow.
still love the guy, and I can't blame him for that. But also, if it's really that bad and people are doing copycat murders all over the world, like fucking pull the movie everywhere. I don't know. Or get to living with it because you created it and this is what it's doing to people. So
Yeah. Might I remind you that you scratched someone's cornea? It's like, fucking suck it up, dude. Lock your windows. I don't know what to tell you. Fuck. Yeah, but it's still, that's pretty crazy. They're doing, that's fucked up, man. What the
Yeah.
fuck's wrong with people?
dude, I don't know. And there were some pretty bad ones too. Like some movies, people kill themselves to works of art. They hurt people and do things for works of art. But
Yeah.
this one was specifically bad for two instances. One of them was with a young kid dressed up like Alex and beat a homeless person to death. And the other one was a group of people raped a girl and sang Singing in the Rain while they were doing it.
Oh, what the fuck is
So those
wrong
two
with
things,
them?
you're just like, yep, that's that is also hard to say that those people would have done that anyway. Like this movie, like John said, it makes him seem so cool and it makes you fight with like inside yourself of like, I am against this, but also Alex is cool,
Yeah, but that was the times too, right?
Yeah, the times were
Probably
worse
not.
in England back when this movie
Yeah.
came out, so probably not an ideal time for the movie to.
I could see it still happening, but not based on the movie. They're just psychos.
Yeah, I mean, there were movies like Hostel and like there were pretty bad movies. I don't know if there's something different about this one though.
I don't know. I think there's nobody out there. Well, I don't know. I guess, they make shows about it, so someone must have been out there. But there's no one out there. Like, I watched Saw and all those ones. I'm like, I didn't think about going to get a circular saw and thinking about it any
Yeah.
other way than to cut a piece of wood.
Because you don't think that Jigsaw is cool, right? And the guy in like whoever I've never seen the Hostel movies.
Nah,
but, like,
I guess
those
maybe
guys
you're right. I
aren't
guess you're right. That's
cool.
different. That's a different set of circumstances. I guess you're right. I don't know, man. Wow. That baffles me because like the only thing I'm ever like, inspired to do by art is like sob. You know what I'm saying? like cry like a little bitch. Like that's about all I get out of art, and not, it doesn't really motivate me like that with energy, It's like that's I guess people are different. And there is that herd mentality too with like younger kids. One kid's the psycho. It's just like the movie.
Yeah, kind of, right?
How about those two? I thought it was a great little part of the story that those two became cops.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. I was like, yeah, those are the people that become cops. That's a fucking great statement on cops. The ones I met are always like that. They were the kids that pulled up your fucking underwear in school and put it over your head and like, ooh, now get your hand behind your back. That's what they graduated to. And then they're killing people, so we can do, right?
Oh, did we lose Denny? I think Denny's computer just froze.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we lost him.
Oh, no. Oh, good thing I have the backup recording.
Right.
You still didn't figure that out, huh? We never made time to do that.
I need to do it. I suck for not doing.
Hey, I do that all the time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. Just do stuff. Not do stuff you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Constantly. Lately, more so than usual.
Oh God, I know. It's been hard. We're sending the kids back to daycare finally on Monday, so we're actually gonna.
Oh wow, that's huge. That's huge. People are too afraid to do it here. Nobody's doing that.
I'm afraid to do it, but I don't know how I'm gonna keep working at this point. So, yeah. So
hey, dude,
it's just I think everybody's struggling. Hey, did you get frozen or did you get unfrozen? What's the deal?
I got totally frozen, but my audio is good. So.
Oh, and I have the backup too. So okay,
Sweet.
I'll be right back.